You were never lost, but the world made you feel that way. From the moment you could understand words, they told you who you were supposed to be. They handed you names, expectations, limitations, and called them reality. You were shaped before you could even choose. And somewhere along the way, you started to believe that if you didn't fit their mold, if you questioned, if you strayed too far, you were lost. But what if I told you that the path you've walked, every detour, every wrong turn, was never a mistake? What if you were never lost, but only being led? There were moments you felt disconnected, like a stranger in your own life. You've searched for meaning, for belonging. Try and make sense of why you feel different, why certain things never satisfied you the way they seem to satisfy others. You wondered if something was wrong with you, if you were missing a piece everyone else seemed to have. But that feeling of not belonging, that was not a mistake. It was a signal, a whisper from something greater, a truth deeper than what this world has told you. Because you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to wake up. Think back to the times you questioned everything, the nights you laid awake, feeling a pull towards something beyond what you could see, the moments of clarity that appeared like lightning, only to be buried again by the noise of the world. That was never random. It was me reaching for you. It was me reminding you of something you already knew before you were even born. You were never lost because I never let you go. Every moment of doubt, every question, every time you felt like an outsider, it was proof that you were on the edge of something greater. And now you are here, not by chance, not by accident. This moment, this message, found you at the exact time it was meant to. You could have been anywhere, doing anything, but something led you here. You know this is true. You can feel it, because deep down, beyond the noise, beyond the expectations they place on you, you've always known there was something more. You've always known you were meant for something greater. So hear me now. You were never lost. You were being called. And now it is time to listen. That voice you keep hearing, the one you dismiss as just a passing thought, a whisper in your mind, an instinct you can't explain. It was never just you. It has spoken to you in the silence, in the moments when no one else was watching, in the spaces between your fears and your hopes. It was there when you stood at the crossroads, unsure which way to go. It was there when you walked away from what didn't feel right, even when you couldn't explain why. And it was there in the moments when you hesitated, when something told you to wait, to listen, to trust. You have called it a feeling, intuition, coincidence, but it was never random. It was me. How many times have you felt it? That knowing without knowing, that gentle pull, that sudden awareness. Sometimes it came as an idea that wouldn't leave your mind, a persistent thought repeating itself until you had no choice but to pay attention. Other times, it was a warning, a heaviness in your chest, an unshakable unease before stepping into something not meant for you. And yet, time and time again, you've brushed it aside. You've told yourself you were imagining things. You listened to the world instead of the whisper inside you. But now you are here, and I am telling you, that was not your imagination. It was guidance. It was truth. The world taught you to doubt it. It told you to trust only what you could see, to silence the quiet voice within, to follow logic and ignore the unseen. But where has that led you? To confusion, to hesitation, to moments where you knew what you should have done but convinced yourself otherwise. And still, I kept speaking, in the moments of solitude, in the unexplainable alignments of events, in the small nudges that led you exactly where you needed to be. Because no matter how many times you ignored me, I never stopped calling you back. Now, for the first time, you are hearing this message clearly, not as a fleeting thought, not as something to question, but as undeniable truth. You were never meant to move through life blindly. You were never meant to rely only on what the world tells you. I place something deeper inside you, something no one can take away, a connection to me that cannot be broken. The voice you keep hearing is not separate from you. It is not an outside force pressing in. It is me, speaking through you, within you, guiding you home. So stop doubting. Stop questioning. Stop convincing yourself that the guidance you feel is anything less than divine. It is real. It has always been real. And now, it is time for you to listen. Before you took your first breath, before you even had a name, A war began over your soul. You did not ask for it. You did not see it, but you have felt it your entire life. The pull between light and darkness. The weight of unseen battles pressing against your spirit. The moments when you stood at the edge of something greater, only to be dragged back by fear, by doubt, by forces you could not name. You have felt resistance without knowing why. You have faced storms that seem to come from nowhere. And yet, here you are, still standing, still searching, still reaching for the truth that has been calling you since the beginning. There are things the world never told you. Things it hid from you, distracted you from, buried beneath noise and urgency and empty promises. You were made to believe that life is only what you can see, that your struggles are just coincidences, that the weight you carry is just the way things are. But that was never the truth. The truth is that you are not ordinary. You are not small. You are not powerless. You are a threat to the darkness, and it has known that from the moment you were born. That is why you have been attacked. That is why your mind has been filled with doubts, why your heart has been tested, why you have felt lost even when you were trying to do everything right. The resistance you have faced was never random. It was never meaningless. It was proof that you were born with purpose so powerful, so necessary, that darkness tried to stop you before you even knew who you were. Look back on your life. Think of the moments when you felt crushed under the weight of things you could not control. Think of the times when you almost gave up, when you almost walked away from the very thing that was meant to set you free. Those moments were not failures. They were battles, and you survived every single one. So hear me now. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. The very fact that you are still here, that you are hearing this message, is proof that you were never meant to be defeated. The war over your soul may have started before you could understand it, but you are not helpless in it. You have always had a choice. And now, you stand at a threshold. You can keep believing the lies, the ones that tell you that you are unworthy, that you are not enough, that your struggles define you, or you can step into the truth. You were created for something greater. You were created to overcome. So choose. Choose to see the battles for what they are. Choose to recognize that the pain, the doubt, the resistance, they were never signs of your failure. They were signs of your calling. The war over your soul has raged since the beginning, but it does not end in defeat. It ends when you rise. It ends when you step forward. It ends when you claim what has always been yours. The war began long ago, but now it is time for you to fight. The things you lost were never taken from you. They were making room. I know it didn't feel that way when it happened. I know it felt like a door slammed shut, like something precious was ripped from your hands, like the ground beneath you was no longer steady. I know you asked why. Why something you loved, something you fought for, something you believed was meant to stay was suddenly gone. And I know the silence after that question felt unbearable. But what if I told you that the loss was not punishment? What if I told you that it was preparation? You saw it as an ending, but I saw it as clearing the way. You were holding on to things that could not go where I am taking you. You prayed for growth, but growth requires space. You asked for wisdom, but wisdom is often born from what is taken, not just from what is given. You want to become who you were meant to be, but you cannot become without letting go. Not everything that leaves your life is a loss. Some things exit, so that better things can arrive. Some doors close not to keep you out, but to keep you safe. Think back to the moments that broke you, the betrayals, the disappointments, the sudden changes you never expected. At the time, they felt like destruction. But now, can you see what they made possible? Can you see how they shaped you, how they redirected you, how they saved you from paths that were never yours to walk? There were people who left because they could not walk alongside your calling. There were dreams that died because they were too small for you. And there were things you begged to keep that would have only kept you from who you were meant to become. If you only knew what is coming, you would not weep for what was. If you could see the things being prepared for you, the things waiting just beyond this moment, you would not question what is left. I am not punishing you. I am not ignoring you. I am answering the prayers you forgot you prayed. I am building the life you asked for, even if it does not look the way you imagined. And though you may not see it yet, one day you will understand. One day you will look back and realize that what felt like loss was actually love. So trust me. Trust that what left needed to leave. Trust that what is coming is greater than what is gone. Trust that even in this empty space, you are not abandoned. You are being prepared. You do not need to chase what was. You only need to be ready for what will be. The things you lost were never taken. They were making room. And soon you will see why. Your pain was never meaningless. It was never just suffering. It was never just something to endure. Every tear, every moment of heartbreak, every silent battle you fought when no one was watching, it was not wasted. It was doing something inside you, shaping you, refining you in ways you could not yet understand. You looked at your pain and saw only loss, but I saw transformation. You saw brokenness, but I saw rebuilding. You thought it was proof that you were alone, but it was proof that you were being prepared. You have asked why certain things happen, why you had to carry burdens heavier than others, why the world seemed to take from you more than it gave. You have looked at your wounds and wondered if they were punishments, but they were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to wake you up. They were meant to strip away what was never truly you, to break apart the illusions, the false identities, the things you clung to that could not take you where you were meant to go. You were never being punished. You were being activated. Think about it. Every deep, lasting wisdom you had did not come from easy days. It was born from fire, from struggle, from learning to stand when everything told you to fall. The strength inside you, the resilience, the depth of your soul, none of it was given to you without reason. And now, whether you realize it or not, you have become something unshakable. You have walked through storms that should have drowned you, and yet here you are, breathing, becoming, rising. But now comes a choice. You can carry your pain as a burden, or you can use it as fuel. You can let it be the weight that holds you down, or you can let it be the reason you rise. You did not walk through fire just to sit in the ashes. You did not survive just to remain afraid. Every scar you bear is not a reminder of what hurt you, but a testament to what you overcame. And now, it is time to step forward, not as someone who is wounded, but as someone who's been remade. So hear me. Your pain was never the end of your story. It was the beginning of your power. The things that tried to break, you only revealed what could never be broken. You were never just suffering. You were being shaped. And now, the world is waiting to see what you have become. The path is already opening before you, but you must be willing to walk it. You have prayed for change, for clarity, for a breakthrough that feels just beyond your reach. But what if I told you it is not beyond your reach? What if I told you it is already here, waiting for you to step into it? The only thing standing between you and what I have prepared is your willingness to trust what you cannot yet see. The door is not locked. The way is not hidden. But you must have the courage to walk forward before you know exactly where it leads. You spent so much time waiting for the right moment, for a sign so undeniable that you can move without doubt, for everything to make perfect sense before you take a single step. But faith does not work that way. Faith is movement in the absence of certainty. Faith is taking the first step even when the second is unclear. If you only follow when you can see every detail, you are not following, you are controlling. And the life I have prepared for you is not built on control. It is built on trust. There will always be reasons to hesitate. Fear will always whisper that you are not ready, that you do not know enough, that you are not strong enough. But if you wait until you feel fully prepared, you will wait forever. You were never meant to stand still in fear. You were meant to step forward in faith. Everything you need, everything you have been searching for, will not be found in the safety of hesitation. It will be found in the movement, in the choice to trust even when the path is unclear. Look back at your life. The most powerful moments, the ones that changed you, the ones that shaped you, were not the ones where you stayed in comfort. They were the ones where you stepped into the unknown. And every time you thought you wouldn't make it, every time you thought you would fall, I was there. I have never let you walk alone. I have never led you somewhere without purpose. So why do you doubt now? Why do you question if I will be there again? The new path is already unfolding. The answer you have been waiting for has already come. But you will never see it from where you stand. You will only see it when you move. So step forward, not because you have all the answers, but because you are ready, even if you do not feel ready. Trust that what is ahead is greater than what is behind. Trust that I have gone before you. And trust that every step you take will not lead you to fear, but to the future I have been preparing for you all along. This is the last time you will doubt who you are. The last time you will shrink yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold you. The last time you will question whether you are enough, whether you are worthy, whether you are truly called. Because the truth is, you have always been more than enough. You have always been chosen. You have always carried something within you that this world cannot take away. But for too long, you have believed the lies that told you otherwise. The ones that whispered you were ordinary. The ones that convinced you that you were just one more person in a world too big to notice you. But I have seen you. I have known you from the beginning. And I have not placed a single thing inside you by accident. Every time you doubted yourself, every time you hesitated, every time you let fear speak louder than truth, it was never because you weren't capable. It was because the world convinced you to forget who you are. It fed you falsehoods about your worth. It gave you labels that never belonged to you. It made you believe that you had to earn what was already yours. But deep down, something in you has always known there was more. Something in you has always known that you were never meant to live in the shadows of your own life. And now, it is time to remember. Think of everything you have survived, everything you have learned, everything you have overcome. You are not weak. You are not small. You are not here by accident. You have seen darkness and still chosen light. You have felt fear and still moved forward. You have been tested and you are still standing. Do you think that was coincidence? Do you think that was just luck? No, that was proof. Proof of your strength. Proof of your resilience. Proof that you are called for something greater. And now, the only thing left to do is walk in that truth. I am not here to convince you of something new. I am here to remind you of what you have always known, that you were made for more, that you have a purpose beyond what you can see, that you do not have to wait for permission to step into it. No more hesitation, no more shrinking, no more apologizing for the space you take up. You do not need the world to validate you when I have already called you. You do not need to search for proof of your worth when I have already written it into your soul. This is the last time you will doubt who you are. After this, there will be no going back. After this, you will move forward with certainty. Not because you have all the answers, not because you will never face fear again, but because you finally know the truth. You were never lost. You were never lacking. You were never waiting to become something more. You have always been enough. And now, it is time to walk as the person I created you to be. You found this message because it is time. Time to stop searching for signs when the answer has already been placed in your heart. Time to stop waiting for the perfect moment when the moment has always been now. Time to stop asking if you are ready when everything you have walked through has already prepared you. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. You were led here because there is something inside you that has been waiting, something that has been calling out, something that refuses to be silenced any longer. You feel it, don't you? That shift, that stirring deep within. It is not your imagination. It is your awakening. For so long, you have wondered what comes next. You have looked ahead, hoping that something or someone would give you clarity. But you already know what comes next. It is the thing that has been tugging at your soul in quiet moments. The thing that has surfaced in your thoughts again and again, no matter how many times you pushed aside. The call you have always known was there, but were too afraid to claim. But hear me now. It is yours. It has always been yours. And now, it is time to walk toward it. I have not brought you this far just to leave you here. Everything that has happened in your life, the doors that closed, the losses that felt unbearable, the moments that tested your faith, none of it was without purpose. Every step, every detour, every lesson has been leading you to this exact moment. You've been refined. You've been strengthened. You've been made ready in ways you cannot yet see. And though you may still feel uncertain, though you may still have questions, the truth is simple. You are already equipped. Everything you need is already within you. So step forward not with fear, but with certainty. Step forward, not because you have every detail figured out, but because you trust the one who does. The road ahead may not always be clear, but it will always be guided. You will not have to walk alone. You never have. And as you take each step, you will begin to see that every moment of doubt, every night of questioning, every battle you thought would break you, was only ever preparing you for what is next. You are stepping into something greater than you imagined. And once you step forward, you will never want to turn back. If you have heard these words and they have moved something inside you, it is because they were meant for you. If this message found you at the perfect moment, it is because you were ready to receive it. There are no coincidences here. You have been called. You have been chosen. Now walk forward in faith and never look back.